If you've ever been ready for Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, 9 or 10 hours before puck drop, and you just can't wait to get there, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back. Happy Monday. Go Oilers. Huge day coming here. Down 3-0, back to 3-3. Game 7 tonight. But before that happens, we have a summer market day to get through. Let's go ahead and just get that done.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
All right. Good morning, folks. TGIM from Market Sniper. We might be the only cohort of people in the world that say, thank God it's Monday, because that means the market's open and we are back ready to trade. It's great to see a whole bunch of returning faces. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. Let's go ahead and bring on 13. 13, how was your weekend?
Oh, it was not bad. Got a little back injury, but I'll be fine. I'll live. So if you see me wincing, that's what it is. Other than that, it's been a pretty good weekend. Looking for a pretty good week. The last week of the quarter. Let's get ready.
Okay, last week of the quarter. Look, I've been there. Back pain is the worst. I've had plenty of back issues over the course of my life, but we'll go ahead and power through it. All right, let's go ahead and just dive right in here. Let me share this tab here. Here we go. Let's take a look at the SPY. We're pretty much flat right here. 13, like you said, last week of the quarter. We're kind of, we had that kind of bearish engulfing candle on Thursday. We really didn't do a whole lot on Friday, so that kind of sets the stage for this week. Are we actually going to continue lower? Do we come back up towards those highs? I know we've got some other data coming this week as well. What do you have here on the SPY? I'll be honest, it's just kind of sitting in no man's land. We're kind of flat here on a Monday.
Yeah, I was starting the day out flat. On Friday, we did put in a bit of a neutral candle, so it could go either direction. We could keep going down, or we could reverse and continue to go up and try to make new all-time highs. For the time being, though, starting with Friday, we were whipping around between the two previous all-time highs of 545.18 and 544.12. We're still in that channel, and even though we did trade to the upside and downside outside of that range a little bit, came right back in, and we're still sideways. So until we actually get a meaningful direction, breakdown or breakout of this channel, I think this is where we're going to be. So it's really going to be, I think it's really going to be dependent on what kind of news we get. We have GDP later in the week and PCE. So there are some economic headlines. We also have the federal bank stress test results. Those come out on Wednesday. So we have some economic data to look forward to in addition to housing and mortgage data as well. So there are some things that could help move the market, but I don't know that any of that's going to really be super meaningful. Maybe the PCE and GDP, but the other ones, not so sure.
Yeah, so I was just going to ask you, are you kind of waiting for anything specific out of that Fed stress test of the banks? Do you have any inkling either way on how that's going to go?
I'm just looking at it as a potential catalyst for movement. I don't know.
Gotcha.
I'm not expecting any particular type of results. Hopefully they all pass, but at the same time, I don't know what data I'm going to be looking for. I'm just going to be looking for if it was just business as usual, if it was really, if it passed with flying colors, or if there was some problems. That's really all I'm interested in.
Okay. Makes a lot of sense there. Hey, buddy, what are you doing? He's trying to go after my tea. We don't need that. All right. I don't really have anything else on the SPY here either. I mean, just the overall outlook, I'm kind of waiting for this to pull back to give us an opportunity to buy some quality names at a discounted price. It's been like that for a while. We'll keep waiting that out. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the movers that are on the list here for today, and then we can go ahead and go over to take a look at whatever the chat wants to take a look at here today as well. Let's go ahead and get, you know what? Let me actually go back to right here instead. Let me go back over. I've already got it pre-set up here for you. Okay. First one here, and this was actually just happening as we were talking. I saw Jonathan Cooper mention this as well. Rev B here running in the pre-market. Looks like we just had some news on this. Let me go ahead and see if I can find it. We traded up as high as just about 360. Revelation Biosciences announces phase 1 clinical study of Gemini met the primary safety endpoint and showed statistically significant biomarker activity. So this is Gemini tolerability, dose-dependent biomarker changes, enables further development across multiple indications. So it looks like a positive news here for Rev B. That caused the stock to pop. Stock holding here up about 35%. Actually might bounce right from here, kind of looking at the price action. Let's go back and take a look at the chart here. Looks like we did kind of pull back off there. Maybe we're bouncing a little bit here. You got anything on Rev B? This just came out. This news is 9 minutes old.
Yeah, so I didn't cover this one because of that.
Yeah.
So it looks like you said, phase 1 data. So that's going to be very, very small clinical trial group, just to see how safe and tolerable it is, as you mentioned from the headline. That's generally what you get with phase 1. Phase 2 is going to be the bigger piece of headline that you were going to want to wait for movement. I don't really think there's going to be a whole lot behind this. At the same time, they still need to raise more cash in order to keep going with their clinical trials. Remember, this is only phase 1. They still have more to go, 2, 3, and then they got to bring it to market or get FDA approval. So they need more cash. This is going to be one of those companies that's going to have to do an offering and then probably do a reverse split at some point. They do have a very small float right now, so they aren't going to be doing any reverse splits anytime soon. They'll be raising cash. 1.6 million shares in the float, no significant shorting. So this is probably going to be very, very short term, I would think. It could run for a little bit, but I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of upside in this one.
Okay. Well, there you go. It might just be kind of a one-day wonder, if you will. See if we can play some of the technical moves on this one. Becca, welcome back. I know that you were on vacation last week. You were in Alaska. You were on a cruise up there. Welcome back. Hopefully that was awesome. And hopefully you're ready here for today. Saw that Sydney was welcoming you back there. Awesome. Okay, let's keep moving here. This next one, I saw this on CNBC this morning. I don't think I've ever really brought this company up before. This is ticker ALNY. This is Alnylam Pharmaceuticals. I probably mispronounced that. Alnylam Pharmaceutical shares are trading higher after the company announced top-line results from its Helios B phase 3 study of, what is that, vutrisiran? I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. And that is met the primary endpoints and demonstrated statistically significant improvements across all secondary endpoints. So it looks like we've got another phase here. This is a phase 3 positive data. Stock moving from about $165 to $225. Stock's up $57 or just about 35% here. Is this one that you follow at all? Are you looking at this at all here, 13?
I wasn't covering it, but I'll tell you, just look at this one. The float is quite large. So when you see these large float stocks that have this kind of news, they'll have that big initial run, and then they kind of can leak the rest of the day. We've seen this plenty of times before with these larger float ones. They're not really in any sort of issue with the cash position. They have plenty of it, so I don't think they're going to need to be doing any offerings or anything like that. I doubt they're going to need to even reverse split. This is just probably going to be a little bit more of a slow mover because of how large the float is. Still great news, though.
Okay. Yeah, indeed. And your point about this, kind of slowly leaking, we kind of saw that on SRPT, right? Last week, they had really good news. It popped into a range. I was looking for a short, really didn't get a short, but it really kind of stayed in that range, right? We'll see what happens here today on SRPT. But remember, this was that range that we were looking for, right? The top and the bottom. And it really just kind of stayed there. It is on the bottom now, so we'll see. But ALNY might do something very, very similar here today. Definitely want to highlight Jay's comment here. The last week in June, historically, is a very, very weak time. Now, Jay, I would like to ask you a follow-up question here. When you say weak, do you mean weak as in performance, like we might sell off? Or do you mean weak as in boring, low volume, no participation? We'll see where the market goes. To me, it definitely feels like the very uneventful summer week, right? Not a whole lot going on. Not a whole lot of people, frankly, around their terminals. They're out kind of enjoying their summer. I'm curious to know, so you think sell-off. So you went ahead and said sell-off. So you think the market might come in a little bit. That'd be great. The one thing I'll caution here is that, the sell in May and go away, we didn't really get that this year. So we'll see if we break any other, axioms or seasonality stats like that. So we'll see here. I'm all for that, frankly. Bring it back in, even if it is low volume. That'd be great.
Yeah, and then we'll get inflows next week when July starts.
Yep, exactly. Lion Atlas saying sell off and rebalance. How great would that be if we did get any bit of a sell off here this week and then we had some of those inflows?
That'd be fantastic.
That'd be fantastic. Okay, let's keep moving here. ALIM, this is another one that was on the movers list here. This is actually just a buyout, though. I don't really think there's going to be any trades here. So that's what's going on with ALIM, up 77% here today. We talked about RevB. In the time that we talked about it, RevB bounced up to the highs, created a double top, and then sold off back down to where we were at. So I think it's safe to say that this is probably going to be volatile here today. We should be able to find some action on this one. Okay, MLGO. Now, this one we have recently traded. In fact, if we take a look at this, you can see here on Tuesday, this was Tuesday of last week, wasn't it? It sure was. MLGO popped as high as 6. We came right back in. We really sold off and went lower, then came back to balance at about 4. Well, here we are again. The shenanigans have started. MLGO trading up to about 581 here today. Did not quite get 6. But it is higher here in the pre-market session on elevated volume. So we'll see if MLGO gives us a trade here at all. Do you have anything on this one, 13, in terms of levels or anything like that? I didn't see any fresh news here on this.
No, and you're not. This is has been a China pump every time that it's up. So you're not going to see any meaningful news. It's just going to get pushed around because it has a low float, 4.72 million shares in the float. This can do whatever it wants because apparently there's some forces behind it that want to, try to capture some profit from people buying at higher prices. So be careful when this starts going up. I have 650 as the next upside target. After we open, or maybe even before. But right now, at the moment, we have a pre-market high of 580. So that'll be the level to take out and go higher to that 650. Nothing I can really say that's driving this, but just ride this wave until it looks like it's about to crest and crash.
Okay. Well said there. MLGO, this is curling back up. We'll see if we get towards those highs there. It's just shy of 550 right now. So we'll see here. MLGO, keep it on watch. Next one here is going to be another ticker that we're familiar with. Not confident in calling it an ex-girlfriend or anything. I don't think we've traded this a whole lot. But we have seen this one from time to time on the relative volume scanner. Exela Technology shares are trading higher after the company announced a $35 million contract for security breach remediation. Okay, this is ticker XELA. That's X-Ray Epsilon Lima Alpha. This traded up as high as 316 and has really kind of come back. We're actually beneath the VWAP by about 20 cents here. So it'll be interesting to see if we can reclaim this. Worth noting that this did actually take a second leg up here in the pre-market. We gave it all back, but we'll see if we can gear up for another one here. XELA. You got anything on this one, 13?
Yeah, that $35 million contract pushing this 5.75 million share float around. They did do a series of reverse splits a while back. Their last one was in 2023. It was a 1 for 200. I don't think that's going to have any material effect on this, but we'll have some of an effect if I got my data correct here. Is they have a 11.5% short interest with 6 days to cover. So there could be a little bit of the short squeeze action in this one throughout the day. So this one should provide some trades. At the moment, it looks like it's just coming down and possibly finding a bottom to set up for the next upside movement.
Okay. Really good stuff there. XELA. Next here on the list is going to be RDZN. This is Roadzen. Now, we've seen this one before. This did pop a little bit in the pre-market. It's come all the way back in. This is a Chinese name that we've traded here before. I'd be careful with this one. It is AI related, but I'd be really careful about this one. Let's see. Yeah. Not sure on this one. Didn't really see anything here. The news was stale from last week. Be very, very careful with this one. It did pop, so I did want to cover. You don't have anything on RDZM, do you?
I didn't cover this one now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't think so. I just wanted to mention it. Next one here is going to be ALT. This is definitely worth mentioning because we've traded this one plenty of times here before. Altimmune, ticker ALT, Alpha Lima Tango. Altimmune shares are trading higher after the company announced that it had presented data from the 48-week phase 2 momentum clinical trial of one of its drugs at the American Diabetes Association's 84th scientific sessions. Okay, so really nice little PR here. Altimmune, the formation here in the pre-market actually looks pretty good. This looks like it's going to test 750 and try and go higher. I think that this is actually a legit company. And you can see here we've traded back into this 750 area. In fact, if we look, let me reset this a little quick here. If we look on an hourly chart, you can see how this area has been in play here before. Really, before we get above 8, this stock's going to need to show some pretty good strength. We'll see if we get that here today. Something to watch. Ticker ALT. You got anything on this one, 13?
Yeah, as it was just pointed out by Jonathan Cooper, this has a very high short interest. It's
33.37%, 9 days to cover, 9 and change.
So that this could really squeeze quite heavily here. Today, tomorrow could be any time when it really gets that squeeze going. But it's probably going to provide some trades today. But the thing is that it does have a 70.3 million share float, so it's a little bit larger than some of these other big movers. So we still should see it squeeze. It's just that you got to temper those expectations a little bit because the float's a little bit bigger than what we're used to seeing with some of these short squeeze movers. So just keep that in mind. But this should provide some decent trading today.
Okay, there you go. And two more to mention here real quickly. Becca, welcome back, said earlier in the chat, looking at NXL here. This is Nexalin Technologies. This actually spiked on Friday, came right back into where it's at now, settled there, spiked in the after hours. We'll see if this gets going here today. Again, ticker NXL. I don't have anything new here. So it looks like this is just kind of holdover from last week. We'll see if NXL gets any follow through here today. And then ticker DJT making some noise to the upside after a lot of movement to the downside. Looks like this is starting to kind of curl up here a little bit. Trump Media shares are trading higher after the company announced $69.4 million in initial proceeds from warrant exercises. So as always, whenever we talk about DJT, use that as a trading vehicle. If you're able to make a case for this going in one direction, can be very profitable. Be careful. Don't buy hype and be safe on any of these names. Okay. Now let's see if there are any other stocks that you folks want to take a look at here today.
Real quick, because I was just asked by Voodoo. He was asking what my read on Google is. Real quick technical read. It looks like 180 is the big level to break out of. You can see that this month so far, we've had 2 visits up there. Both times we visited up there, we traded over 180, could not close above it. So that to me tells me that 180 is the big level to get over. And if the volume comes in to push up through there, we want to see it close above 180 for more upside. Otherwise, I think we might continue to go sideways and eventually roll over if we're not getting above 180.
Yeah, real good stuff here. I'm with you on that. This is actually one that I'm watching here now. Semiconductors are a little weak, so we'll see how that spreads into some of these other tech names. Wanted to get we're going to talk about the semiconductors here in a sec, but I want to cover this. Nancy's asking, what about CMG here in Maine? I heard rumors here in Maine we had a tornado warning. Okay, so first of all, no idea about the weather in Maine. Anyone that might know about that, let me know what's going on there. The reason that I wanted to cover Chipotle is because they're actually supposed to do their split on Wednesday, right? That is going to be effective as of Wednesday. If I go into here, calendar splits, Chipotle, here we go. So distribution date 6/25. So looks like this is going to be as of what, tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So as of tomorrow, Chipotle is going to be trading at its split adjusted price. Chipotle here, $3,228. 50 to 1 split here. You can see we actually kind of ran it. Now, Chipotle was down on Friday yesterday. Pretty good, right? We were down, 5% here, 6% on Friday on some pretty good selling volume. Looks like people kind of sold ahead of that split. I'm very curious to know how Chipotle trades. You got anything on this, 13? You think you got any thoughts on how this behaves?
That push up into over 3,400 looks very, very. I'd have to
blow off toppy.
It looks like a blow off top, and it looks like as soon as that kind of was realized, the selling just really happened fast. This is the kind of thing that we've been hoping for with the semiconductors for a while, just to have this blow off top, and then the realization that this is not where the price should be, and it comes back in. Now we're back in this sideways channel again. So if you're looking for more upside, this is the area you're going to want to see where it holds. And then if it doesn't, then you're just going to look at the next demand zone down, which is between about 3,000 and 2,800.
Okay. Literally, as we were talking about this, I saw a tweet come across the wire here from another Twitter trader that I follow. I'm just going to read you the tweet. Chipotle, ticker CMG, accepting applications for, quote, superfan status, end quote, through their LinkedIn page. So any of you that are Chipotle superfans, maybe check out that LinkedIn page. Over the past 2 decades, Chipotle's celebrity card has been presented to notable figures who have publicly expressed their passion for Chipotle. But now the brand is accepting applications from all superfans. So I don't know what that's going to mean for the stock, the company, or whatever. But if you want to be a Chipotle superfan, sounds like you can head on over to their LinkedIn page and go through some type of process. I don't know what it means, but I literally saw that come across the wire as we were talking about Chipotle. I'm more interested to see how this stock trades post-split. And furthermore, is it Chipotle's split that really kind of coincides with the market coming back in? I know our happy hour crew thought about maybe NVIDIA being that. Would be something else if it was Chipotle. This is actually going to be my dinner for tomorrow to celebrate that split, by the way. Just decided that right now. Okay. Okay. Nancy, good question there. I don't know anything about the tornado rumors, so we're going to have to get a little bit more clarity on that. I'll let you know if I hear anything. Danielle said semiconductors are all below. I think you mean lower, except for Micron. Interesting charts here, right? So here is Micron, by the way. If we take a look inside Micron, you can see, actually, let's go to a little bit longer. There we go.
That looks just like Chipotle's. Almost looks like this, exactly like Chipotle's.
The daily chart here?
Yeah. We just had this gappy push up, and then
right down to the 20-day. Right down to the 20-day. Now I don't want to lump Chipotle in with the semiconductor discussion here. But you're right, chips. 13. What's that?
They both have chips.
They both have chips. One of them tastes a little bit better. A little hint.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, the MU here, this does have very similar daily candle here. But these both pulled back here. But the larger question here is going to be what's going on with some of the other semiconductors, right? Like NVIDIA here, we're actually lower. This pulled back to the 20. Do we get a bounce here? Who knows? Let's take a look at the SMH. This is going to be your semiconductor ETF. This also pulled back here. So do we have any trades here? Are we looking for semiconductor short? I guess you could also take a look at the SOXS and the SOXL here. I'll tell you what, just looking at this SOXS chart, 15-minute chart back, this sure looks like this wants to trade up here today. Right, SOXS, maybe we go for a 24 handle here today. What do you think about that? Curious to know what the group thinks about the semiconductor trade, given what we've seen in some of these semiconductor names the past week. 13, you got any thoughts here on the semi trade?
No, I think what you pointed out with the 20 is really interesting. We'll look at NVIDIA. That's the moving average that was helping ride up from literally the beginning of the year to where it had its first peak before it started coming back in and correcting. We lost 20 there, reclaimed it, and now we're riding it back up again. So, yeah, I'd be interested to see if it holds a 20 or not. I'm specifically speaking on NVIDIA. The other ones too, 20-day as well. I think that would be another test for it as well. If it can hold the 20 and start to reverse, then we're probably headed higher. If we start to close underneath the 20, then the opposite.
Okay, so this 20-day on Nvidia about 2 points lower than where we are right now. Beg your pardon. Jay here, appreciate you. I like the 117 to 120 level. So Jay, it looks like you like a little bit more of a pull through this 20-day. Curious if close above the 20-day means anything for you here. See if we get any pullback there. I'd love to hear how you guys are going to trade all these semiconductor names. DJF said Nvidia's leaking a little bit. Larry H said I held SOXS over the weekend. Larry, it's a good start here. Let's see if we get a little bit more. Also mentioned here that Micron's earnings are coming up here. Tom saying Micron reports June 26th. So obviously today's June 24th. This is going to be Wednesday after the close. Factor that in to your trade if you do trade Micron. So I'm like I said, I'm curious. I want to see how this semiconductor trade is working out. Smart guy here. This is my first trading day where I actually have the day off from my day job in a long time. Hopefully I can trade well enough to not have to go back. So I've been lured by the siren song probably 100 times, the days where I've had off, and I've been like, I'm going to do this today, and I'm never going to go back to my job, and I'm going to walk past the office, double bird. No, I'll say this: if you're looking to quit your job, I would say make sure that you have at least 500 grand in an account to cover life expenses and to cover the dreaded downswing, because even when things are good, they won't always be good. Good luck today, smart guy. I hope you do it. All right, we are open. We're going to flip over to trade the pool. You folks know what that means. If you need help getting above the 25K day trading threshold, Trade the Pool can help. If you need more dry powder, they can help with that too. We are off. Let's see what we can do here today. 13. All right. And Alyssa, who's in the back producing the heck out of things. Hopefully you're doing well as well, Alyssa. All right, let's take a look here at Rev B. I know that was one of the big movers early on here. We're right beneath the VWAP here. Do we go above? Do we get a trade above VWAP here on Rev B?
Yeah, that looks like it's going to try to push up over VWAP, doesn't it?
Yep, sure did. It looked like that early here. 325 going to be your high print here on Rev B.
And 358 pre-market high. That's the target right now.
Rev B popping here.
Micro algo trying to figure out a direction. Same with Altimmune.
Take a look at all of these here. Here is Altimmune. NXL. This is Becca's NXL. This is popping off the open here. This is looking pretty good.
XELA lower and not doing a whole lot yet.
GovX. Gerald's on this. This looking like this might be going. What was that ticker you just gave me?
XELA. That's Exela Technologies.
XELA. Thank you very much. Let's drop in here. Now, NXL, Bex, one of the things I'd be looking at here on... What was that? NXL. Okay. One of the things that I'd be looking at here, Becca, is to me worth watching for a pullback. This did run right out of the gate. Great call. This ran right out of the gate. Really didn't give a chance to buy this here. This definitely worth watching on a pullback, especially if it can hold. Going to flip around to some of these other stocks. ALNY looks like we're breaking down from this one. I was thinking about doing another trade, kind of like SRPT, but given how that one didn't work, ended up not setting it up. Maybe this is worth watching, though. We'll see. See if we can break out of that 216. Sorry, 13.
No, it looks like XELA is trying to turn around. See if anything can materialize out of that. REVB, almost to that pre-market high. This has been the winner so far this morning. Altimmune still trying to hold VWAP. And MLGO trying to choose a direction. Let's see what we get.
I'll tell you what, this Rev B move, that was quick. That was really, really quick. Good stuff to anyone that traded that. NXL, this is still moving here. We'll see if this ends up pulling back at all. MLGO, sorry again?
Rev B went right to that pre-market high and came back in. So now we want, if you're in this one, I mean, I hope you were paying yourself on the way up. Maybe try to reload if it gets under VWAP. But if this starts to break down, I think that 358 is going to be the top unless we get some volume to really push through and go higher. I don't have an upside target on this one, though.
Looking for this to come back into that 320 area, that low 320. Looks like we got to the high 320s there and stopped. Here's the 358 spot. Wow, there was size right above it. New highs here on Rev B. That one's going to have to cool off. Otherwise, I'm going to chase just like I did last week. We don't want to do that. NXL, we are pulling back here. Let's see if this holds at around 2. That's what I'd really like to see on an NLX pullback.
For Rev B, there's a possibility we fill a gap back from the January or February of this year. There's a bit of a gap on my chart here. That gap fill is at about 740. So that implies that there's about another $3 or $4 in this Rev B stock price action to the upside. So we'll see if it gets up there.
XELA here. This is kind of wild. 260 seems to be the spot. Really quick, Jay Rice in the chat mentioning IBM liking that Goldman Sachs upgrade. So real quickly here, Goldman Sachs actually initiating coverage. So it looks like this wasn't even an upgrade. Initiates coverage on IBM with a buy rating, price target of 200. So really nice rating there on IBM today from Goldman Sachs. That's clearly driving it here.
It was already there. It already went to 200. It wants to go back up.
Those price target, they love going in a day. IBM here, looking at the daily chart, we're actually still in a gap fill. That gap fills at about 182 as well.
I was referring to like earlier this year, it went up to 200.
Yeah. Okay. I gotcha.
Oh, we're getting a mention from Soundhound. Smoke tuna.
Yeah, that is popping here. Soundhound popped 10 cents. So going to draw people in here. NXL did pull back. We'll see if it holds in that low. Here we go. So we're at the low 2s here in NXL. Remember, this had a nice little move out of the gate. See if that holds those low 2s here. I've got that VWAP at just about 203, kind of right where it's at. Alt
is starting to push. We're going up to the pre-market highs of 774. Remember, this has the high short interest with high days to cover.
Yep.
MLGO, nothing quite yet. I'm thinking it needs to hold 520.
That's looking like this is going to try and go. MBio getting mentioned here in the chat. That's a penny stock. Probably won't come back to MBio a lot here, Webcoin. NME popping a little bit. GME getting a mention this morning. What's that doing here? Not a whole lot.
All getting close to pre-market highs. Looks like so far this morning, Alt and Rev B have been the better ones to trade. MLGO really not pushing up to the pre-market highs as of yet. And XELA trying to do something.
XELA, that 260 is going to be your spot here on XELA.
Yeah. And it's trying to chew through it right now, and it might get it if enough volume comes in. Just, look at that.
That just took more than half of it right there. There it goes.
Yeah, here we go. Just look at the volume though, but comparatively between the first 5 minutes and the 5 minutes that we're in right now. Just a big difference. We need more than that.
Yeah, we are. I'm glad I'm not kind of chasing that one. Doesn't look great here. Microsoft lower. Interesting.
Alt went right up to that pre-market high. Just got a tick above it, and it's coming back in lower. But I don't think this is quite done. I still think that we might see it go higher, but the volume, again, we need to see more of that.
Agrify for you penny stock players. That looks like that's breaking out a little here. Jay saying NNE, these micro nuclear power stations look really cool. Jay, are you thinking about maybe trading some of those names, or are you talking about the actual real life station? Chipotle here, pretty much even, not a lot going on there. Let's take a look at some of these other movers. How about Tesla? Let's take a look at Tesla. Looks like this ran out of the gate here. Tesla right up to that 187 level. Big move here. 5-point move pretty early on in Tesla. Jay Walker, nice job. 10% on Rev B. It's a nice way to start the morning.
Nice. XELA slapped down. That low volume not helping it.
Well, that was just a pop to that VWAP and an immediate rejection there.
Here we go with Alt. Now we're starting to see this one move or squeeze. This
Apple
one,
looks,
I'm hoping this one squeezes is pretty significantly. Sorry for interrupting.
no, it's okay. It's okay. I'm not in this alt here. Let's see what happens when we break 8. I got to think the 8 break is coming here, huh?
It's chewing through it, but not enough yet.
GovX.
There we go. Oh, it took it, and then somebody just came right back in and pushed it down.
Yeah, I actually see a little bit of size beneath it as well. GovX looks like that pulled off that 3 spot on GovX. Archer Aviation higher today. This is on a continuation from Friday.
Yeah, the eVTOL has been getting some news lately. Apparently, San Francisco's airport's going to be kind of doing the same thing that the Houston airports are going to do. I don't know if it's with Archer though. I think it might have been with Joby. I'll have to double check that. Also saw that we were getting a mention about some ex-girlfriends, Zap.
Oh no, Zap. We zapping it up here.
And RX, mentioning by Clean Slate. Let me see what RX is doing.
Yeah, both of those popped here.
Nice. Not a lot of volume though. All right. Rev B coming in, losing VWAP.
Let me try something here real quick.
RX is the one to watch. Well, I don't know that I would want to jump into it right now while it's tearing. But yeah, maybe
wait
not
for a better spot. Yeah.
I can see right now that there's a pre-market on Friday that hit a high of 957, and we're kind of making our way up there. I'd be curious to see if that's where this tops out temporarily. Rev B trying to.
I actually wonder if we reclaim the VWAP here on Rev B.
That's what I was thinking too. Is like, do we try it? Do we wait and see if it does and then try it? Looks like Altimmune's going to try to push higher over 8. It's back up there. That would have been a good dip to buy if this goes. Volume just, kind of leaving real fast in some of these.
Okay, filled some here at Rev B at 330. So we'll see if we get a bounce here. Going to have to be careful with this one, though. Really don't want to make a mess here. So bouncing off that spot. Let's see if we can reclaim VWAP. We do have the highs here at 380, so that'd be interesting.
Alt now at 804. Looks like MLGO deciding to come back here after putting in a red candle.
Here we go on Rev B. Let's see what happens right here at the VWAP. We want this to reclaim its VWAP.
There we go. It's working.
They brought in some size there. They took it. Let's see if we go higher here. Rev B. There we go. There we go. Can you go higher at all here? There we go.
Maybe start shaving.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking right here. 350 seems to be the size there.
Yeah, and then 360.
We're trying to go through VWAP right there. Don't have enough, or at least I don't feel like I have enough to kind of trim partial, which is definitely something that I want to start focusing a little bit more on. We'll take this one off right here, get some green on the screen. We'll see if we can set up again here for Rev B. Not a huge one. Let me handle something here real fast.
So RX, almost to that 957 that I was just talking about. Let's see what happens when we get there. It's like right on the doorstep of it. So we got as high as 954.
Aaron Thomas, there we
Yeah, I spoke to and I agree. Like Rev B, I think this is when you want to scale out on it as the momentum is pushing the price up, and then just wait for the next setup. Because I agree. Like if this doesn't work out and it just knifes, then that's the whole trade and you're done.
There we go. Okay, sweet. Sorry, I'm handling something else on the other end here.
Micro algo actually pushing up now. 580 is the pre-market high. It's almost there, and it's through. 650 is the upside target I have in my MLGO. We're at 591 right now. 595. 6.
Hold on one more second here. Which stock are you on here?
MLGO.
And look at Rev B. So I actually turned my head just for a sec to handle something else. Rev B really fell out.
That's what we were talking about.
Yeah. Yep. Nope. It's my own fault. Glad that worked out.
Yeah, you guys talking about RX being the one. You weren't kidding. That had a nice several candles here after the open. Excellent stuff. And let's see, MLGO. You guys are talking about 612. This one looks like it's about to halt, and it is. It's halted. MLGO. Oh, fun morning so far, guys.
Yeah, and sorry for doing some ancillary work there, but I should be all set now. We should be good to go. So, okay.
All right. So, we were just looking at MLGO finally coming back to life after not doing a whole lot out of the open. 650 is the upside target. We just blew through the pre-market high. After 650, if we continue going higher, 823 is the next one I'm looking at. Archer, somebody said it's going to 4. I'm fine with that. I'd love to see Archer go to 5, 6, 7, even higher. It can do that. I'd be pleased with that movement.
Let's take a look here at Archer and Altimmune.
Okay.
I actually still have Archer in my swing account, so I don't actually trade around it. I just kind of hold a little bit of it just to watch it. I'm down on it, but
Me too.
I still do have an interest there.
Mm-hmm. No. I mean, I was, we talk about it all the time. I was buy it when it's in its weakness phase, and it had a big old phase of weakness going from it was in the 7s. What was this, like last year? Late last year was in the 7s, or from about summer to the end of last year it was in the 7s, and it just leaked all the way down to $3. So that was a good time to start adding more, because this is gonna be in my mind, because of the all the rollout with the different airports, United Arab Emirates, deals with Stellantis, just everything that's going on with eVTOLs. They're getting certified for, and they're licensing, and they're passing their tests with the FAA. These are going to happen. So I want to be in these when they're cheap. And I think starting next year, they'll be much better.
NXL here, this lost too. We'll see if this gets rolling again. Smoke Tuna mentioning BZFD, that's BuzzFeed, that's spiking higher here. EOSC, I saw this getting mentioned on Twitter earlier today. Okay, so this popped in the pre-market. It's curling back up here now on EOSC. How's that SOXS trade doing? That's at the highs here. I tell you what, this might be a swing. We get back down to VWAP here on SOSX.
Sorry, just cycling through some of these names, seeing what's setting up and what's not. And right now, it looks like Altimmune's trying to find some support. Now, VWAP, it's coming down to, I have that at 760. So we'll see what happens if it can get some support there. That's Altimmune.
Okay. Yeah, SOSX here still continuing to go for the highs here. This will be interesting to see if we get a bounce trade here on Altimmune. Real quickly, by the way, Agrify, that was that penny stock from earlier. That did pop 70 and came back in. GovX popped 3 and came back in, but didn't break down. That one's still looking pretty decent. And NNE, that nano nuclear, that actually looks like that's trying to go higher here. Here we go on alt.
You said that was NEE? Next Era Energy?
NNE, excuse me.
NNE, okay. Okay. Man, this price action in NNE scares me on the daily. That's like parabolic. I mean, it could be a great company and it's just not properly valued, but you know, that movement, I don't know if I'd want to jump into this for a long hold there.
Seeing a lot of green in retail names. That's going to be stuff like Abercrombie, Macy's. Actually, Abercrombie's lower here, it looks like.
Ooh, XELA just had a big old drop out to the
look, that
$230
was wild out of the open. We got a nice little pop to that VWAP thing, immediately came back in right there. Like I that's to me, that's not the best type of trader. Rev B, very, very similar, right? We got that pop above VWAP, then a big, big yank. I'd rather trade something a little bit a little bit easier to trade, frankly.
I think it's really more just the environment we're in. Oh, look at here we go. MLGO is open again and got to 630. 650 is my upside target. See if we get it in reverse or blast through it and keep on going. So far, coming back in. If it does come back in some more, maybe it finds a bottom just under 6. Okay, things rolling over here. Let's see what's setting up for us. But NNE, that one just pushed higher.
Looks like value also with IBM HOD. Honestly, I'll take that. I'll take that. If some of these high flyers want to come in, that's going to be fine with me. GDDY, GoDaddy here. That's moving higher. Okay. SMR getting a mention here. That's trying to go higher. Rocket Lab. Just kind of rolling through a lot of what the chat is seeing here. MLGO, let's see if we get a pullback there. Rev B maybe curling.
They're all just slowing down.
Alt, this did bounce pretty nicely off that VWAP, excuse me. APLD having a nice move today.
Yeah, I mean, these movers, I mean, their volume is just going away real fast. Look at MLGO now. That one's come down to the support level here. This is where it would need to reverse, in my opinion. Otherwise, it's going to get ugly. Not sure we're going to get a whole lot more out of alt, but we'll see. And, you know, it could be one of those situations where these movers, they just leak for a good portion of the day until lunch is over, and then they just turn around and come back.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see, though. We're also in the middle of the summer here, you know. Literally, like the middle of it. And by the way, I'm happy to report, I think we are officially at the tail end of the cicadas here in Chicago. They were quieter yesterday. I think that this is the last week. I think they're kind of ending here. So Dow and the Dow futures at the highs here. S&P's actually popping as we speak here, popping a little bit.
Okay.
Palantir trying to go higher here. I tell you what, that Palantir, man, that is Anytime you can get that under 20, that might be a decent job here. SOUN, this came back. We'll see if it's trying to break that VWAP there. EFCJ been pretty good since they poached the Lulu VP. How's Lulu doing? That is, we haven't got our next up move. It's really kind of just hanging in there, but we haven't got our next big rip to the upside.
Yeah, SPY getting some real bullish activity right now after it just briefly traded underneath the that one of those previous all-time highs I was talking about, the 544.12. Got a couple closes beneath that. Third one, bull said nope, bid it up. Now we're at coming up to the top side of that range I was talking about, the previous all-time high of 545.18. So let's see what happens when we get up there. Maybe we trade a little bit above it and then come back in. We just bounce back and forth like we did Friday. RX, still looking good. And it looks like the 10 might be on the docket. Looks like MLGO is actually bouncing where I said it needed to.
Let's check in on that one here. We want MLGO to come in towards the VWAP here. We want this on another 30 cents, I feel like.
You want this one to come in some more?
Yeah, I think so. Here's Rev B, by the way. This might be going. Let's see if we can get above the VWAP here on Rev B. I've got some size at 330. That VWAP's at 338. I'm going to try 100 shares here. Let me actually see if I can add to this if it comes back in. And maybe we'll add through that 330 here. I'm going to try Rev B again here.
So SPY now above the 545.18. I don't know that we're going to go a whole lot higher.
Looks like this is Goolsby doing the talking here.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'm expecting this to just kind of come back in at some point here and just kind of go back into this trading channel. So we'll see if that's what happens. RX, yeah, I think that one it could end up going to 10 here. It's looking pretty good. Altimmune also pushing up. 804 is the intraday high. Volume is really low.
Goolsby. So here, I'm just going to summarize the comments here from Goolsby. These came about 10, 15 minutes ago. It says economy outside of inflation data showing signs of cooling. Feds Goolsby says wants public to understand Fed's reaction function. Feds Goolsby says he won't comment on the state of government finances. Yeah, I wouldn't either. Feds Goolsby says politics won't influence Fed's monetary policy choices. So not a whole lot in there, 13.
They love to hammer that point home, that they're not being influenced politically. They love hammering that home, don't they?
Yeah, they sure do.
Okay. MLGO looks like it's trying to push up. Who was saying they wanted to see 6? Linus, you wanted to see 6? You might get it. I mean, this volume, I don't know, but still looks like it's possible.
Jonathan here is saying, Ryan, I think we should be looking to take profit off the table early. The volume is spread too thin to get a big mooner today. I'm with you. And that's why we took profit earlier here. Rev B, by the way, we break this right here, 305. Going to be out this real small portion here. Was hoping for an ad. If it holds here, maybe we could get a little bit more. We'll see here. Smoke Tuna calling Rev B support 270. So it looks like we're looking for another leg down here if we get it. That 270 is going to be beneath one of these pre-market candles here.
I'm glad he said that. I was kind of feeling that, but I didn't want my mouth to get in the way of everybody's trading. You guys trade the way you guys trade, but the volume is, I've been mentioning it all morning. The volume is just going away really fast today. So, just keep that in mind. I think that what he said was a good point.
See here if we bounce on Rev B.
MLGO with a big old spike in volume, going to 650, almost there. 644 is the current high. You got your $6, FMC. Or I'm sorry, not FMC. You got your $6 line Atlas.
I was like, I think I know what he means. Here we go on RevB. This is probably going to die here.
Because I was reading his comment as I was talking about it.
Okay, so RevB, that second part, that's why we only took a small amount there. Smoke Tuna, you might be right here on RevB. We'll look at that 270 level. Okay, so you called him by the stock that he's trading. Let's see here.
We're trading. We love our FMC.
I've got some too. Look, actually FMC having a decent day here today. All jokes aside, see if we can reclaim 58 there. MLGO is bouncing here. Let's see what happens. See, there we go. Lion Atlas having a good time there.
All right.
Okay, and real quickly here, just for the week, I know we've got a lot going on, or we've had a lot. Jesus Christ, wake up.
You tell me if you're having a stroke, right?
A lot going on here. So just kind of looking ahead here this week, there isn't going to be any live trading on Wednesday, by the way. So right after pre-market prep, we're going right into a webinar with T3. We might be able to come back on after that webinar. I'll be around 13. So maybe if you're ready from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern, we'll come back on here and say hi to the group. But just keep that in mind.
Yeah, not that I'm going to sleep in or anything. Because
No. Of course, I'm not. I mean, I'm going to golf. Not sleeping. I'll be on the golf course the first available tee time if we don't have live trading. I'll tell you that much. But I'll be back long. I'll be back long before lunchtime. MLGO, this bounce here has actually been pretty good off that VWAP. We might be returning to that. Hopefully you paid yourself on the way up. Jonathan, I think you were on to something early. You get any type of bounce in any of these names, definitely pay yourself on the way up. And if you're going to try it again, if you're going to try the same stock again, maybe reduce your position size. That's how we were able to keep profits in RevB despite taking a loss on the second trade there.
Fine, I can start calling you FMC if that's what you want. That was funny.
Jay here mentioning that the IWM and the Dow outperforming the Qs. So here's your IWM, here's your Dow tradable ETF. Both of those at the highs here. SPY actually did bounce towards the highs here. Qs, on the other hand, not quite there. They are at their intraday highs, but not as high. So definitely seeing some divergence there. I'd like to know what you are trading for that. How's NNE doing? Okay, so that's continuing to grind higher here.
Oh, so is this SPY.
SPY, nice little move there, right? Nice little move on volume. All right. Despite being the summer, it is still 10 a.m. on a Monday, and you folks know what that means. That means it is time for our guest. I'm just going to call him Monday Matt Maly. Matt, how you doing here today?
Well, I'm doing great now that we got the Celtics winning another championship. Now have a record 18. They've been tied with the Lakers, and so my only concern though is I've always said how the Boston teams are usually bullish for the stock. Whenever they win a championship, it's bullish for the stock market, especially the Patriots. But then somebody reminded me the last time that the Celtics won was 2008. So maybe
I was going to say, didn't the market sell off? Kind of have a big deal after the last time the Celtics won a championship. By the way, 18 titles. As a Bulls fan who grew up in the Michael Jordan era, just the sheer number of titles that the Boston Celtics have, still really unbelievable. Congratulations. It's probably a lot easier probably a lot less stress now going through the week with all those teams or all the championships in the rearview mirror.
Exactly. Lots of fun.
Now, today, I don't know about you, Matt. I am really, really excited. Hockey's my favorite sport. It's what I played growing up. So Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals, you better believe that I'll be locked in for tonight. I got Edmonton, not my home team. I got to imagine you're kind of rooting for Edmonton, too. Those Boston fans, you don't really like the Panthers, do you?
No, not at all. But I tell you, that this Connor McDavid, wow. I mean,
He's something else, isn't he?
that assist he had last week. I think it was in game. Was it this game 5 or game 6? I think it was game 5. But either way, I never seen anything like it. I mean, Wayne Gretzky was unbelievable, but this guy, boy, he looks.
Yeah, he's something else. He undressed 4 people, threw it right across the goal mouth for an amazing goal. All right, awesome stuff, Matt. I'd be happy to catch up with sports on you any time, any day of the week. Look, one of the things that we've been kind of discussing here, 13 and I, is that market really definitely seems kind of slow. There wasn't really a whole lot going on this morning. We did recently just see a pretty good bounce here in SPY. It looks like Dow and IWM is kind of leading. What do you make of what we've got going on in the market right now? And perhaps most importantly, what are you looking ahead to?
Well, it's we've had these moves. I mean, it's been a ridiculously narrow move, as we all know. And, of course, late last week was, we had the quadruple witch trip expiration. Volume, literally the composite volume went from 3.2 billion at 3:58 on Friday to 7 billion after the close. So there was a lot of weird stuff going on there. So it was hard to derive what was going on. We also had the Apple saw a sell-off because of the rebalance of the XLK, et cetera. So now we're coming into the new week, which is the last week of the quarter, and people are trying to, letting the market try to tell them where it's going to move. I mean, it was interesting to see the article in Barron's over the weekend, just talking about how NVIDIA, when I say it was bearish, it wasn't bearish about their outlook. It was just talking about, questioning how much the stock can really follow through. Can it continue to see the great numbers it's seeing? And even if it can, is the valuations getting too extended? When you get something like that out of Barron's, you usually don't see that kind of skepticism with the stock at an all-time high. That's gonna bring into some questions, and then so we're gonna be watching the semiconductor group this week, or at least in the first half of the week. Friday we get the of course another the deflator. I'm sorry, the PCE deflator. So and people will look at the inflation picture. But between now and then, tech stocks are going to continue to be the kind of leading the way. The SMH Semiconductor Index started to roll over late last week, obviously led by NVIDIA. If that starts to break down, that's going to create some problems. And so what I'll be really watching is that in the middle of this week is Micron. They report earnings. The stock has doubled since February. Since February or April, either way. But it's had a huge rally. So people say, well, they're going to have a real good number, and that's going to relieve everything. Well, that's fine. But number one, if they have anything that's remotely disappointing, that's going to be a big problem. But more importantly, after the stock has already doubled, do we get a sell the news reaction? So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how if this breather that we saw late last week in the semiconductor area turns into a bigger decline, or if it bounces back quickly. I mean, remember, long before AI came around, the semiconductors were already the leading indicator, the leading group for the market, and even if it's going to to infinity and beyond by the end of the year, it can see a significant pullback at any time, and we see one beginning right now. The first part of the third quarter may be a little bumpier than people are thinking.
Okay. Good stuff there. So yeah, you mentioned a couple of things that you're looking for here this week. Obviously, new home sales there on Wednesday, PCE on Friday, also GDP on Thursday there. We did have a question from one of the group members here directly for you, Matt. Ask Matt about energy and gold seasonality. During the summer, are they due for a spike? What do you think on that? Energy and gold for a summer play?
Well, gold, of course. I mean, I'm just, I'm still concerned about all these geopolitical, things that are going on. I mean, let's say what doesn't fit. You put a couple of things. What doesn't fit? Well, we got, a possible currency crisis with Japan. We got a possible sovereign debt issue with France. I don't want to get too, say that we're on the brink of one of those things. But when you have those types of situations, we got now households holding a record level of stocks in their portfolios, and that was in the first quarter. They've got to be bigger now in the second quarter. You got all these different things, and then you get the stock market at an all-time high. One of these things is there's just a lot of risks on the table right now. So I like gold. I guess my point, especially since it's pulled back from its highs. As for energy, I'm very worried about what's going on with Venezuela. I'm very concerned about what's going on in the Middle East. I still think that one thing that people keep talking about Gaza. But my concern is that the real issue here is Israel wants to make sure that Iran does not become a nuclear power. And that means that at some point we're going to have a bigger and wider war. That means higher oil prices. So I'm bullish on the energy sector. Again, after that recent pullback it's starting to bounce back a little bit. Now we got oil back above $80, that key resistance level. If it can sustain above that level and push a little bit higher, I think the energy sector is going to be a big surpriser to the upside this summer.
XOM, CVX, both having nice little moves here this morning on that as well.
Yeah,
13,
one of those stock is Schlumberger, or the old Schlumberger, SLB. That's a stock that's bouncing back nicely. It's making a little bit of a higher high, positive MACD cross. It's something we talked about in our chat room this morning. I think this is one that could really surprise people to the upside if we as long as oil can hold above $80.
Okay, really awesome stuff there. 13, you got anything for Matt here today?
No, I think I'm completely in agreement with him about the status of the market. Very, very, it's kind of a muted day in my opinion. Just not really seeing a whole lot of interesting trades, but I'm really looking forward to the economic data at the end of the week. So yeah, I agree with everything he said. I don't have any groundbreaking questions for him.
Yeah, I'll say so. Matt, any advice here for people when you have kind of a slow day and you're kind of waiting on a couple of things? Any advice here that you have for market participants on a week like this?
Well, two things. Number one, just on this particular week, we want to continue to keep an eye on Bitcoin. It's getting hit pretty good again. It's not broken below. I mean, its May lows are down 50. I think it's 57,000. Well, it's below 58,000. It would have to break below that before we threw up a real big warning flag. But it's well off its highs. We remember it got up to about 71,000. Now it's at 61,000. This is a big indicator for net liquidity in the system. And if there's less liquidity in the system, that's usually not good for risk assets. So keep an eye on that. But overall, you asked about a question when things are kind of quiet. One of the things, as they always say, you always hear the thing, don't just sit there, do something. Well, sometimes the right thing to do is when things are quiet is don't just do something, sit there. Sometimes you want to sit on your hands a little bit. You can't force the market. You got to take what the market gives you. Don't try to force it. So sometimes it's best just to kind of sit on your hands, and we'll have plenty of things. And something may come up before the day's over. Like this thing with Bitcoin that could create some activity. But other than that, let's wait to see what the market gives us, and it may be a midweek and then with Micron, and later in the week with those other issues that you mentioned before we really get active.
Yeah, sometimes the right trade is no trade. I think that's really good advice. Matt, the only other thing I can think of that might be a catalyst here for this week, we got Chipotle's split coming this week. You doing anything with Chipotle, ticker CMG?
It's funny because we always want to say that, theoretically and actually, splits don't mean anything. You're not going to, they don't gain any more earnings from it, anything else. But having said that, the stock usually does rally when a stock splits very, very, very simply. And especially when you get a stock like this one, people know Chipotle. Sometimes, especially on the whole thing, they split these stocks so the individual investor can get more involved. And the individual investor, of course, is much more important than they have been in a long, long time. And so they come in and buy it, especially when they know it. If it's some obscure stock or some biotech stock where it's like, oh my gosh, what do they do? They got some kind of new drug. But people go to Chipotle. They like Chipotle. They're like, hey, the stock's now it's a lot cheaper for me. It's a lot easier for me to buy. I'm going to go ahead and buy it. So I guess my point is you certainly don't want to be shorting the stock here or buying puts. And later in the week, if we see an opportunity, we'll definitely be looking at some calls and maybe buying the stock itself.
Okay, awesome. Really good stuff. I'm going to be waiting for the split as well, and I too am going to be looking for the same thing. Matt, really appreciate your time. I know we don't have a whole lot here. Thanks, Celtics are champions. Let's see what happens in the hocky game. Matt, we'll check in with you next week.
If you're not a great hockey fan, there's nothing better than playoff hockey. Tonight's seventh game is nothing better.
I completely agree. There is nothing better than a Stanley Cup hockey game, and a game 7 can't be better. Matt, have a great night. Enjoy the game. We'll talk to you next week. All right.
Sounds great. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Matt.
Take care. That is Matt Maly. He joins us every week on Monday at 10 o'clock. I did go ahead and throw a link in the chat to join one of the webinars. If you want to hear more of Matt and his breakdown be sure to sign up for that webinar. Check it out. The dude is no stranger to closing huge options trades. I can't wait to see what he thinks of Chipotle after the split. 13, I'm in the same exact position. Like, I don't want to buy or short this thing going into the split. I'm really eager to see what happens afterwards, just because it's a 50-1 and it's Chipotle. Everyone knows Chipotle. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. No trade ahead of time going into this, though.
I made a mention while Matt was talking that MLGO is coming back, and we're about to get up to 650 again.
Look at this.
Or towards it. So, break out of that. I'm not exactly sure how high we'll go on a breakout, but I have 823 as my next upside target. So that's what I'll be looking for the price to go over the next matter of minutes or so.
Okay, nice little setup here for MLGO. Let's see if this pulls back in. I like that 596 area. If we do get a pullback there and it holds, this thing might rocket right through those highs. I don't think this one's dead here at all. All right. Good stuff. What else do we've got going on here?
Archer.
ACHR. Let's do it.
It took 4 and it's coming back in a little bit. So I guess we're just waiting for this breakout here that it did to cool off, and maybe it sets up for more upside movement.
Indeed.
Big old sell orders from 410 on. So we'll see if they can chew through those. But for the time being, it's looking pretty good.
DJT also grinding higher here. It looks like it dipped a little bit out of that pre-market and moved higher here. I don't see anything in terms of like a new setup for this trade, but seems to be moving right here. RDZN, this is one that we talked about a little bit here, still under the VWAP. We'll take a look here at Alt 13.
Yeah, that one looks like it's trying to break 810. Lion, what do you mean Archer is the Boeing off the 70? I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Yeah, I don't know what that means either. Jay saying all the NVIDIA related names still weak here. I wonder what that means for Micron going into its earnings here this week. That will be interesting to see. How's AMD doing? I don't even know if I took a look at that here today. AMD lower here, as that is a little weak as well.
Let me see here with Micron. When did they last report earnings, and what did that look like? Let's see. They last reported on
we talked
March 20th.
While you're looking that up, we talked a little bit about Apple with Matt here. Apple is actually trading up a little bit here. Not a huge movement, but this giving you some move off the open at least on Apple. Didn't buy that one. How's the trade desk doing from last week? Okay, we came back in. I still think that this stock could make another run and a break above that 100. We'll see if this stops at its 20-day here. We'll wait for TTD, the trade desk, to set back up. I actually took a little bit of this last week. That trade ended up working. I'm going to keep coming back to this well as long as it provides a setup there. ACHR could be their beginning like Boeing in its 70s.
Oh,
great aviation company that also has technology like Boeing in its early days. Smoked tuna, well done there. NXL. Hey, look at this. This we talked about wanting this in those low twos here. We ended up getting it. Let's see. We're trying to move through the VWAP right here. Got that VWAP at 199, by the way. Some size here, 210 NXL.
Sorry, I'm just reading their Micron's last earnings. Where they declared a 11.5-cent dividend, and they had a huge guide.
Quantum Computing QBTS. That's a Carmen name. This may be up off the bottom. This actually might not be a bad. I just have a feeling that some of these dollar names, as soon as they cross through $1, they're going to 50 cents. Alt getting mentioned by Tom. That's going higher here. This looks like all that's really moving right now. MLGO, how are we doing there? So MLGO and Alt look to be the only active traders here today. Maybe Zila, if this can get back to its VWAP.
That last ER from Micron it looks like that was the biggest beat, top and bottom, they ever had. I don't know what that does for expectations.
I was going to say, do you think that sets the bar a little bit higher here and they're more apt to miss then? That would be my first read on that, 13.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. But, they could just have they could just, guide really well again. I'm not 100% sure, but that's one thing that I need to, keep in mind is that they had a huge quarter last ER. 68% surprise EPS, 9% surprise on revenue. They've never done that before. Not once. The highest surprise revenue they've ever had was 8.3%, and that was back in 2013.
DJF saying, MU, the AI spend has been insane. How could they miss?
Yeah.
OKLO being mentioned here by the group that having oh my God, look at this. Look at this thing. The last time we took a look at this thing put in a huge move. Nice move here this morning.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of Micron. It probably will end up going higher on earnings or after earnings.
Jay, I love this, man. Love this. STX and WDC. STX is going to be Seagate. WDC is, of course, going to be Western Digital. Jay saying here, these are a couple of plays off the MU report. So you're looking to play these as sympathy then to MU. Good morning. Stay focused. Doing well here so far. Very, very light day. Not a whole lot going on. Would love to hear what you're seeing out there, and stay focused, not to put you on the spot here. What do you think about the Chipotle split that we're due to see here this week? Curious to know what you think about that. But otherwise, we're alive and breathing, man. We're alive and breathing, but not a whole lot going on here this morning. SPY, by the way, off that recent push up has kind of stopped here, taking a little bit of a break.
Between the two storage, data storage companies, Western Digital and Seagate. I was on Seagate for a while. I had that one, all the way through the pandemic. This one, I think the Seagate, is the better company between the two.
I agree. I actually like their products more for whatever that's worth.
And I know that they've been working on, trying to modernize as well. And they have a different, we went through this like back in 2021, all the different products they had coming out. I think that Seagate's the better one between the two. Altimmune pushing higher. It's squeezing.
Alt here right at the highs. Tell you what, this was a great trade off that VWAP. This was a great trade off that VWAP. Robert here saying Seagate is better, but they use Micron chips quite a bit.
Oh, that's fine. Micron's probably
Micron's good.
The biggest leader in DRAM and NAND technology.
Yeah.
We almost ended up moving out to Idaho because my wife was interviewing for them.
I tell you what, by the way, look at Tyson off that move off the fired CFO. It's been very, very quiet, very, very orderly. We talked about this one. Not anything here for a day trade, but this actually gave great entry to an investment or a swing trade. Tyson higher here. 13, what's interesting is I've heard amazing things about Idaho, and I'm not talking about the potatoes. I've heard that state is absolutely gorgeous, especially for somebody that loves outdoor stuff, super friendly gun laws, and yeah, of course, the great potatoes. I'm not against Idaho. I'd look into that myself.
Yeah, this Tyson interestingly bounced right off its 200-day SMA, like right off of it. So now we're getting through the 20. Next up is the 50, and we have that at 58 and 52 cents. I think that we might see some resistance there, if not there in the 500. You look at the 500, that actually has been providing the
Here,
big
let me get you a bigger chart here. We can actually walk through this together. I thought that was going to be short lived, and I was like, oh, I'll just keep an eye out here on the scanner. Then nothing happened, and I was like, yeah, I should have been charting Tyson. So we'll do that here. Here you go. So here is that 500 that you talked about. That's going to be this thick purple line here. That was clearly resistance there.
Yeah, and look at what happened when the price back in May when the price fell through the 50. That was just a complete lack of support there on the 50. So now we're looking to see. I guess my expectation for the 50 now would to be, if it doesn't provide resistance, then we're going to see a pretty sizable move up to the 500 through the 50, because the 50 is just getting smacked around like it's nothing.
Look at this hold and bounce off the 200 day.
Yeah, this perfect bounce. Second time too. February did the same thing. Bounced there, almost came back and touched it again, but that was just the 200 is really good for providing support, it seems. And I think the big one here is the 500 that we need to get past, and the 20 and the 50 are just going to, be redheaded stepchildren until that happens. NLGO that has a decent.
Let me go back to trade the pool here.
Yeah,
they mentioned TGTX. That's one I definitely like here. TGTX. Let's see if it snaps 20 there. VKTX. We haven't looked at this one in a while. Maybe this did bottom. This actually took out the bottom of that initial pop. For me here, I definitely want to see this reclaim 57.5 on VKTX. Close above that level would be awesome.
Yeah, and I did see you guys mentioning Zim today. I have a small position left in there. Nothing, really, substantial. But yes, it is doing really well. It's back above 20, so that's nice. Let me see here if I can get an idea of where we're going. See how much more upside we have in this. So I want to see this, get multiple closes above the 20-day SMA, and then we'll likely see more upside. The thing is, if we don't, then it'll have a head and shoulders pattern here, and that'll indicate that we're going likely under 18, maybe even lower. So that's kind of what I'd be looking for right now with Zim, is to make sure we get multiple closes above the 20-day SMA. All right, what are we all looking at? Go back to this chart. Okay, so Rev B is trying to figure out if it's turning around or not. XELA, just a whole bunch and nothing in that stock. TGTX, so this is the one you were just talking about.
Yep.
The upper shadows in this one on the 5-minute chart don't look too great, but my first stop that I'd be looking to take profit in this one, if I was in it right now, would be at the Friday high of 1834. We're kind of headed up in that direction. That's where I'd be, wanting to sell into, is, that top out right there. If we push through it, then great. I don't know what happens after that, but that's where I would be.
I wouldn't want to buy a potential breakout there. I'd want to buy this on support and then maybe trim if we were able to break out from that level there. Maybe trim at that level, hold a trailer in case we go above, and then maybe sell above there.
Yeah. Okay. Your bird is sending out a lot of tweets.
Yeah, can you hear it? How loud is it? There's literally nothing I can do.
I'm not
in
complaining.
a different room with the door closed. Like I cannot make it any quieter.
Man, I'm not complaining.
No, I know.
It's breaking the silence, so it's kind of nice. We're all being quiet over here, just looking at stocks, and he's over there saying, "Buy this, buy that."
NVIDIA.
Is it turning around? I know it was down.
No.
It's down even more now. Okay. Well, let's see, the 20-day SMA I have at 121.30, and we're about 25 cents above that. We want to see the weakness in NVIDIA. We need to see multiple closes underneath that 20-day SMA. The long trade is on the material and metals. We got some pullback in that sector too, I believe, right? I think it's back on now that the pullback has happened. Is that what we're looking at, line or FMC?
NVIDIA, this looks like this is going lower here, by the way.
And
ALNY, that teased a breakdown and didn't happen, just like SRPT last week. Okay. MLGO coming back into that VWAP. You know, this thing seems to be compressing as it rides that VWAP. I wouldn't be shocked if this fell out and just kind of lost it.
That mention of Walmart, yeah, this thing is just, it's still going. I mean, this could be a big winner, just because with the consumer tightening, they're not going to see some retailers get the attention like this one will. All the money could end up going to Walmart because of how cheap their products are. Not saying it's going to happen, but it's definitely a theme, definitely a possibility. I mean, where do you go when a recession hits, Ryan? Where do you go shopping? Is it still Costco?
Yeah, it's still Costco because I just get the best bang for the buck there. Costco.
Costco and Walmart.
I definitely don't go to Walmart. I personally definitely would not go to Walmart. That's not even like a negative comment. It's just I have other grocery stores here that I trust much more than Walmart.
And they're probably closer.
And frankly, they're closer.
Yeah, it's always going to be Costco and HEB for us.
Costco and what? What?
HEB. That's our Texas store out here.
What is it?
It's a grocery store.
Is it literally called Heb, or is that short for something that I don't know?
It's supposed to be short for here everything's better.
Oh, okay.
Which it really is. It's actually a very good store.
Tran, I'm in the Chicago. I'm in the Chicago land area. I'm in a suburb of Chicago. Good company, bad management. Hilarious handle, frankly. Can you look at Core? It's been 21 weekly candles of red. Price is $6.75 and has 4.66 of cash per share. This is, of course, Coursera. Let's take a look here. I'm assuming one of the things you're looking for here is a potential long. Good company, bad management. Let me go ahead and bring this up here. So here's your weekly chart, and you can see just what about our TLC joke, our waterfall joke from last week? This thing just absolutely getting crushed, down from about $20 down here to $6. All red candles. So my big thing with buying stuff like this, first of all, know the company. I'll be honest, I would have to do research on Coursera to learn a little bit more about what this company does. As far as the actual chart trend that you're identifying here, my big concern when I see something like this, wait for the bottom to confirm. Either that or scale into this slowly so that even if it drops to $4, you're not like, oh no, what was I doing there? So I mean, I'd be happy to, I'll take a look at this one. This is definitely an interesting chart here. I don't know enough about the company to feel good about holding this if things really get worse. Gladys here is saying, I'm looking at something other than this. AI may negatively impact it. So that would be something to look into here. Is this move down because AI is a bugaboo here? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't want to pretend to know. But I'll definitely take. You got anything on this one, 13? This is a chartist nightmare.
It's this company isn't profitable, so I guess I would just look into what their plan is to actually make it profitable. They lose tens of millions every quarter. They do have revenue, so there is that. It's just that their operating expenses, they need to get those down. And I don't know anything about this company or what they're going to need to do in order to do that. But it makes sense that it's going down because they don't make money.
Learn with Moses here is saying, could buying puts on core be a smart move? Well, this is what I mean. You really need to do research. No, I don't think so. The put buy was when it was $20 up here. Probably could have got 10 puts out of the money, really not had to pay a whole lot. Now you're deep in the money. I don't know that we're going to have another down move from here. This is how many weeks did you say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. God, I guess this technically broke it up here. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 of the past 21 weeks have a red candle. I don't. You'd have to really think that something else is going on here to buy puts. I think the put play was months ago, beginning of the year.
Yeah, I really just reading the synopsis of the company that it's an online learning platform. I don't know that those have ever really done well.
Yeah. I would need some more research in there to give you any type of opinion worth a damn.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I don't have enough information.
And I just am not prepared for it. I'm sorry. That chart is nasty. MOLN, I'm not even sure why we're bringing this up. This stock has no volume at all. Molecular Partners, I mean, this is nothing here. MLGO, this did bounce off the VWAP here, an MLGO.
Looking for that 650 break. Let's be careful. It's been up here before, and it's come right back down 2 times already. So this is either going to be the third or we're going to break out of 650. Look at all that. Look at all that size right there at 640 right now, actually. Trying to push this down. There we go. Breakout. And we're probably going to halt.
Goodness. That happens so fast.
Mm-hmm.
677, that high print. They brought size in at 674.
There was a huge, huge wall of 60,000 shares that just got eliminated. Now we're going to want to, for more upside, we're going to want to see 650 hold, or at least not get closes beneath that. And then we'll try to push up and get that 823 that we talked about. Rev B, this thing is just dying. Same with XELA. Yeah, military stock's been great. Let's see here, because one of my favorite ones, RTX, is still doing good. As a matter of fact, we're coming up to we came up to the all-time high and turned around and sold a little bit. Looks like 109 is a big level for the stock.
So really, really quick. First of all, I think that guy's just spamming. For real, this definitely feels like spam. Let's try and tighten that up here a little bit.
Okay.
Real quick though, Gladys, this makes me so happy. This just makes me so happy. We're talking about core here. Gladys saying, check out the insider selling on ticker COUR. So Gladys, of course, opening up Benzinga Pro, flipping over to the insiders tab, and starting at the beginning of April, you pretty much had everybody from the VP, SVP, president, all of them selling shares here. Just now, they still have, some of these people still have quite a bit. Lots of insider selling. That actually goes back to February too. Gladys, shout out to you for doing this here. This is exactly the type of thing that people can use Pro for. We were talking about this. I didn't even think to click over here. Big shout out to you on this. This is awesome.
RX with the pushing up right now. 954 is the high we got this morning. Looking to push through that. MLGO going higher in the 7s now. And what else? I mean, that looks like the two that are doing well right now. RXRX and MLGO.
Here.
Yeah,
not a whole my MLGO. Boy, this was it. This was the play here.
Yeah, that 650 break. That was it. Now we're looking for 823.
Ryan Air push it. Robert, you fooled me there for a sec. I was like, what am I pushing? But of course, meaning Ryan Air there, ticker RYAN.
Hey, Elon, I'll take it. And Ben Davis mentioning ASTS, ex-girlfriend, I believe, space stock, right? This was the one that had the spacecraft land on the moon, I believe. Or no, that was lunar, wasn't it? I forget which ones are which. But it's spacecraft stock, ASTS.
Rev B. Yikes. Big blue. We got another waterfall being made here. Glad we made money on that one early. NXL is still holding that low 2 area. This has been an important area all day here today, but this might be fairly decent for an entry here if we can hold on to this. How's HIMS doing? That's been a great mover here. Seeing some calls getting bought. Boy, HIMS still elevated here. Take care of yourself, Lynn. Thanks for joining us here. I know you're rooting for the Oilers, right?
Yeah. Take care, Lynn.
Rooting for the Oilers. We'll see you later, Lynn.
MLGO coming back in a bit. Okay, well, now I don't see a whole lot except for MLGO right now.
Stay focused here. Scalping NVIDIA to the downside here. And looking like that was working. Any thoughts on HPE? This is Hewlett Packard Enterprise. This came back. I'd actually like to see this chart come back in a little bit more, probably towards a 19.5 handle, but that's just technically. As far as the fundamentals on HPE, I'd have to look into this. This is Hewlett Packard is not something that I follow.
I think all of these, computer companies are just getting a big old but a big old push up because of the anticipated upgrade cycle. We have all these new chips coming out. Everybody wants to get on the AI train.
It's cheap though. I'm looking at a forward price to earnings here of 11 for HPE.
Okay, so then maybe there's an opportunity here to pick this up at $20. Because $20 seems like it could be a potential level. You had a March 6 blast off, and it got all the way up to that level, and it came back in. Didn't see that price until earlier this month, and now we're above it. So I think that's going to be a support level, $20. 20-day SMA is right there too.
Hewlett Packard pays about a 3% dividend as well. Not a whole lot of short interest in that name. Recently, EVP doing some insider sales here, but nothing crazy. Nothing I would really. And it didn't look like that Coursera inside here. Sorry, I can put it up on the screen. Did not look like that Coursera chart. That's for sure. So
okay, I see what you're saying there. Stay focused about the 2040. That could be, what that could be is that could be the first entry, and if it goes lower to 20, then there's your second if you want to do it that way. I don't disagree with 2040. That could definitely be it. We already got support from that on Friday. We just need to see it hold. Management owns 40% of MLGO. Well, that's fine with me. Because I'm not going to hold it for the long term.
go back to trade the pool here.
Yeah, this is kind of cycling through the movers.
I was going to say I got some stuff drying up here around.
It's good to see that MLGO is still holding above 650.
Look at the move on Tesla. We moved out of the gate, up several points, completely reversed that. Tesla here pounding the lows. How do you even telegraph this?
Well, let's see what we got.
How do you even do that? What's some of these other tech names that we've been taking a look at? Meta, that's higher here. Apple's higher here. Nvidia's lower. AMD lower. How's that SOXS that we talked about from the outset? That might be moving higher here, SOXS.
Well, Tesla, you could be seeing price action based on a trend. If you draw a trend line from the high of April 29th through the high of June 13th, that looks like the trend line that today's price action was trying to get up and over, and it was rejected near it. That's the read I have. But also, it seems like 189 is also something of a level. But I'm looking at this trend on the daily first. I think that that's the trend that this price action needs to get over for continued upside. Otherwise, it's just going to stay beneath it. Look at 180 for support.
Broadcom moving lower here. Broadcom, this actually might fill a gap to the downside here on Broadcom. 1,500 potential move down here. That would be something.
MLGO back over 7, trying to push up. We're new highs now.
This is the only thing to trade here today.
And it had no news. Telling you, man.
Just continuation Momo move from last week. It's wild.
And we're at 773 is the high. We're 50 cents away from 823. So these are looking a little topped out. I wonder if Rev B and maybe not XCL.
NXL. This was a Becca call from earlier, looking like this is going to try to take out the intraday highs here. This was a nice move back down towards those high 190s. Did a decent job holding on to 2 there. VWAP here at 202. NXL, this looking pretty good. Becca, this was a good call this morning.
So stay focused. This one on the daily chart has a double bottom. So you could be seeing upside in this one. I just don't know that the volume's really going to do that. Push it up to where it needs to go. But let's assume that we get some volume to come in. Let's assume that. The first upside target I have is going to be about 1425. And you can put a line right there, and you'll see that was, let's see, what was the exact price? So yeah, 1427 back on June of 2023. That low right there, draw a line through that. You'll see that the recent price action that we got in May and June was trying to get above that line and was rejected. So that's going to be, I think, the big line to get over for continued upside in Children's Place. Hope that helps.
NVDA here, by the way. Looks like that just had accelerated selling on that last candle down. Jay, I think you sold 120. Did you sell puts or calls there? I think last week you were selling puts. I'm sorry if I'm not remembering correctly. Unclear from your post there. Are you selling puts or calls?
Yeah, right, Line Atlas, you're right. That is the news of the day. We're trading it and we're winning.
GME moving higher here. Wonder what's going on with that. Probably nothing. Puts. Jay, you're selling puts. Good stuff there.
MLGO, high of 790, just 33 cents away.
Elon here wondering if Boeing's making a bear flag or if it's actually reversing to an uptrend from a falling wedge. The worst is probably behind him. I doubt about. So, I'll be honest here. I've thought to myself a few times on Boeing. The negative news cycle for Boeing has been intense. And I've thought a few times recently, gosh, the negative news is probably behind them. It's probably priced in at this point. And then all of a sudden, some door plug blows off a plane or someone takes a video of an engine cover falling off mid-flight. And I'm like, man. So I'll say this, I don't want to just go out here and assume that the worst news is behind them. I have no idea what's going to happen next here. What I will say, though, especially on the day, let me actually get a bigger daily chart up here real quick to take a look at Boeing, because I do like this company long term. Here's the trend that we drew the last time we talked about Boeing. And today we're getting right back in there. We're recapturing this trend line. We're closing above it. We're actually right here, right beneath the 20-day moving average on the daily. Let's see if we can close above these. I think technically from a chart here, maybe we are possibly turning around here. I don't think this is just a bear flag. You got any thoughts on Boeing 13?
I think, 176 is pretty interesting to me. I just kind of looking and speaking my mind on that. I don't know if it's a particular level. I do think it needs to get back above that 20-day SMA. We did fall out of a triangle, and now we're back in it. So I'm not really going to draw anything from that price action. The thing that I keep having go off in the back of my head is that we were just talking about Archer. They have a eVTOL company called Whisk that's going to end up getting used a bunch starting in the Houston airports. So there's future prospects that might make this more attractive and more and create more value for this. They're also a military play, so they still have military contracts. They're still building certain aircraft and I believe some missile systems. So there's other segments too to this. I don't know exactly from this point right here where we're at where we're going to go, but I'll just say for starters, let's get above that 20-day SMA and then we can revisit that. So that's the first thing I want to see happen.
Okay, real quick here. Jay mentioning 25 of the 30 Dow names in the green. Here you go. Here is a heat map of the Dow. Looks pretty good here today. Dow heat map looking pretty good here, Jay.
And the ones that are down in the Dow 30 are Amazon, CRM, Home Depot, Intel, and Microsoft.
Yep.
So, several Mag 7 names. The only one that's in there that's a Mag 7 that's not, lower is Apple.
Home Depot about flat there too.
Yeah.
Stay focused. I missed my diamonds entry here this morning. I wasn't even trying to trade the Dow. The thing that I was actually looking at ahead of the open here today was going to be, do we have a trade here in SOXS? We got a nice little push out of it. I actually still think this might be pretty decent here for a potential swing SOXS. Didn't take any position in the swing account. Still kind of looking at this one, though. By the way, I know we talked about this one. Didn't have a whole lot. COUR for Coursera. At least today, looking pretty good. We are at the highs here. I think the last time that we talked about this, it was right in here, getting ready to break its pre-market high. We did go higher here, so worth mentioning.
MLGO potentially setting up a flag here, bull flag to go higher. So if we see some support, I'd say between 7 and 710, then there might be a turnaround here where it goes up to 8. So let's, I'm just kind of watching MLGO right now to see if we get that. If it starts breaking down and closing beneath 7, then I'm just not going to worry about it.
Okay. Eva mentioning that NVIDIA now below the split price. Interesting. So now below that split price. Now we talked about that one. I know the happy hour group more frequently talked about it. The NVIDIA split possibly marking that top. And we did, of course, go past it. Be interesting to see if it actually recovers that split price.
Neville, I like your comment. Garbage pays waste management.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, that's one I've wanted to be in for so long, and I picked up a utility ETF that was heavily into it. So I'm very happy with where I'm at with that. I agree. Waste Management's a great company to own because everybody's going to keep making garbage.
That's right. That's not going away, and people they need something to do with their garbage. Excuse me. By the way, look at this 214 here. This is a possible high to break through here on Waste Management. We'll see if we end up doing that. Last time we butted up against an area like this would have been right in here at the 173 handle. Once we broke it, Actually, I think we did break it, kind of retest it, and then we didn't even look back.
No smoke to it, straight to jail. Right to jail.
Stay focused. I'm a bit bullish on the Dow names for some reason. What is that reason? What is that reason? Maybe just kind of taking a break?
You looking for value to come back?
Looking for value to come back?
It needs to come back. That'd be wonderful.
Apple here, by the way, helping out the Dow. Apple at the highs. Ryan knows about wasted management. Beer emoji. Think what you're saying is that I know about being wasted, Becca. Not going to dispute that. So stay focused, saying all about value. All about value. With you there. Would really like to see maybe a reset of the market and give us an opportunity to own some of those value names at discounted prices. That's honestly what I'm waiting for.
Yeah, those dividend names are going to be the ones to look for. The ones that are going to be paying out more annually than bonds will.
Someone asked me about NEP last week. I know we didn't have Tim Melvin on because we had the Wednesday holiday. Gosh, we're not going to have Tim Melvin on again. I forgot this webinar was on there. I'll see if I can get him on maybe for a different day. Let me actually put that on my list of things to do. I just spilled tea all over my phone. Okay, let me put that on my list of things to do here today real quick.
Who's your supplier? T-Mobile?
I know. Republican.
Come on. That was a good
I know.
one.
I don't know. Not a huge T-Mobile fan. One sec.
Yeah, but you spilled tea on it. You guys got it right. Anyway, looks like MLGO is trying to get some support.
All right. We're going to get today figured out at some point. I'll probably have the day all figured out by the time the Stanley Cup game starts. Okay. Oh, Becca, you were talking about the golf tournament. You weren't talking about me being an alcoholic getting blasted all the time. I see. Okay, I took that the wrong way, clearly.
Thanks, Paul. See, he got it.
EPOW getting mentioned by Robert. Robert, were we slacking a little bit? Oh, my. Yes, that's a penny stock flirting with dollar territory there. EPOW.
Looking to see if MLGO is going to turn around. Volume's a little light, but if it turns around, you're looking for 8. TGTX, that one's trying to push back up above 18 and stay above there.
Good around here. Boy, look at Netflix, too.
Yeah, RX. I think we're about to get a break over the intraday highs of 954. Volume needs to expand a little bit more, but we are pushing up.
This was another good call. Another good call. And QBTS, by the way, Carmen, aren't you swinging this one? We got mentioned of this one earlier. This almost looks like it's at the dead bottom. What was the ticker you just mentioned?
Oh, I was just talking about ALT. That one's trying to push
Altimmune.
Take out 834. Volume needs to really expand on this one, though. That's the name of the game right now, folks, is which one has the volume. Looks like RX is getting the volume. What else is getting the volume? Is MLGO getting the volume? Not quite. Seems like they're all in one name at the moment.
Jay, this is hilarious here real quick. Jay says he can go to the Rocket Mortgage this week and watch Jason shoot 100 in the Pro-Am, Becca. So, Jay, really sharp. I didn't even realize that you knew this. Jason does golf in the Pro-Am every week. Now, I asked weeks in advance if I could travel to the office for this week, and nobody got back to me, including Jason. I asked Jason. He ghosted me. He didn't get back. He even told me he'd get back to me and then didn't get back to me. Okay. So barring some sort of miracle, I do not think I will be present at the Rocket Mortgage Open this week. My heart hurts a little bit for that, Jay. Definitely wanted that. But yeah. And as far as watching Jason play in the Pro-Am, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. We need to get you out there. Have you be a ringer.
All right, so Altimmune got new highs. MLGO still kind of flagging a bit. Excuse me. I think this is where it needs to kind of recapture 7 and hold. Otherwise, MLGO probably going back down to 650 and lower. I'm waiting for QBTS for a breakout. That's this is the quantum computer play, right?
Yeah. Smoke Tuna says G Pro going bankrupt or it found its bottom. The only person I know that uses GoPro, I know two. Andy from Mighty Soldiers Trades, and my buddy who does underwater filming of in his scuba excursions. The only two people. Chewy here holding at about 25. I'd actually like a pullback here on Chewy. That's kind of been overgassed recently. I will trade this again though, Glenn, if we get that set up. No question.
I mean, wow. The last income for GoPros, just the income statement. I'd have to look and see what happened here. What this tax provision is about. But dang, that's a big bill they had to pay. Big bill. Almost 300 million tax provision.
All right.
Well,
we are done for the day here, 13. You got any closing remarks here for the group?
Wow, we just kind of like rolled out of bed with this one, huh? Well, I'll tell you what. It seems like there are still some things that are moving, so just keep an eye on those. But like we've been saying all morning, if the volume looks like it's going away, maybe that's your cue to do the same. I don't know that I'll be trading a whole lot more. I'm just going to be kind of like maybe putting together a bit of a shopping list for these value names that we think are going to hopefully turn around here. So I'll have that list ready to go if that event does happen, where it's going to be rotation out of the big, the Mag 7 and into some of these smaller value names. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the day. And maybe if there's another trade that sets up, I'll do that too. Hopefully y'all have a great rest of the day as well.
Yep. Well said. We will make some more sense of this. Thanks to everybody for joining us. Stay green, stay safe. I'm going to send you over to Apex Trader next, 13. We'll see you, dude. Take care, everybody.